different from when we was kids, you know, and I'm just like riding through looking at the population and the people and they running each other off the road. I'm just like, yo, Southwest.
Yo, I got
crazy.
a funny Falone story. So this ball from up from like 51st and from 51st and Woodland, right? Look like a little 51st and Woodland, right?
51st and Woodland is always funny, but that's the start of the story.
The nigga from 51st and Woodland, so he like just came home, so he like little small unassuming guy, like little dirty nigga, but like he can fight all this shit. Like he's a gangster. So he's in the fucking Popeyes. Some niggas come in there and just walk in front of him.
In the Popeyes?
He in the Popeyes right there on Woodland Avenue.
Okay, yeah.
He's in the Popeyes on Woodland Avenue. So he in there waiting on his food. Niggas said, man, fuck out of here. Oh, hey, mush him, beat him up, all this old shit just to get some chicken. So this nigga's a certified maniac. So he finds out, he get homework on all the niggas, find out where they work. One of them working for loans. He coming for loans. He coming for loans and cut at the counter and lay on the counter and say, hey, remember me? You and your homies beat me up at the Popeyes. I'm going to kill you when you get off work. See you later. And walked out the door. The nigga's like, help! Call the police. And everything. Yo, they had to call so many people to stop this boy from killing this guy. And it's just like, yo, that was the nonsense and the mischief that went on in the 90s and the early 2000s. Like, you could just beat up a stone cold gangster and not know it and end up with your life in danger.
Listen, I got a Falone story that is better than all this shit. So, my homies Ross, Ryan, and Mar. Ross and Ryan are brothers. Mar's they homie. They're all smaller niggas. Like, who do we notice like smaller? Cause you're actually like taller than like
like Rick?
Nah, Rick's tall.
He's maybe Rick?
Yeah, Rick. I mean, he's
comparatively
average height. Yeah. Like Lil Maul.
Okay.
Like that build, like smaller, shorter,
slim in stature.
Right. You know what I'm saying? They're all three of them are exactly like they all wear like size 9.5 shoes. 36 waist jeans. Like they're smaller individuals. So me, JR, shout out JR, rest in peace JR. JR got killed. Me, JR, and Hawk. We're in my car. It's a normal Saturday. Yo, let's go to Sev, grab some Dutches. We trying to smoke. All right. We riding up to 7-Eleven and shit. These niggas trap. I don't trap, but you know in the hood, you know friends with the trappers and shit. We riding. As we're coming through the light at 7-Eleven, I see some, you remember like cartoons where it would be like just dust and like X's and shit like that? You can see some commotion.
A kerfuffle.
Yeah, exactly. I can see something going on at Falone's. I just see it and I'm just like, it's Falone's. This is what, it's what the fuck they do at Falone's. JR is in the passenger seat, Hawk in the back. JR, he like leans up on the dash. He like, yo, ain't that your man Ross and them rumbling? So I look and I'm like, oh shit, that is them. So we come through the light, and as we get close, we realize it looked like a melee. When we get close, we realize it's Ross, Ryan, and Mar. They're rolling on like this big ass white ball. Like this. So I'm just like, I want to know how this shit started. Like, how the fuck did this begin? So we pull up. JR and Hawk, you know niggas in the hood, they like, you never seen the joint with a boy like, well, I want some of this. And he get like, that's the way niggas is. So,
but give me some of this shit.
So we start getting out of the car. Ross come running over. He in my window. He like, yo, one of y'all niggas got a burn on you. So I'm just like, you gonna pop him like in broad daylight out here? JR, he with the shits. He trying to pull. I'm like, cool, the fuck, I'll stop. So we start getting out of the car. And I'm talking about Ryan and Mar are wailing on. I'm talking about swinging for the fences. So we getting out the car and we starting to come across the street on some like, we about to get into this shit. Yeah. The white boy gets off the ground and stands up, and I'm like, yo, this nigga's like 6'7".
We gonna have to pop this nigga.
White boy is huge. He stands up and he was like, what the fuck is up with you motherfuckers? He flips open, you know, it would always be a dumpster right there in front of Falone's. He flips open the dumpster and dives in it. I'm talking about head, like his feet were in the air like this. Like he's in the dumpster. He comes out of the dumpster with a 2x4 and a 40. Psh, come the fuck on. I'm like, everybody in the car. We start running back across the street. 6 niggas trying to climb into a coupe. Yo, nobody wanted any smoke with white boy.
How did he know the 2x4 was in there?
He flipped open the dumpster and dove in that motherfucker. He came out, it was like a short 2x4 on some Hexall Jim Duggan shit, and he had a 40. He broke the 40 and was like, come the fuck on. And we got in the car and was going. We left Mar and Ryan out there. Like, they couldn't even get in the car. We sped the fuck off, and he was out there screaming, I come to Falone's to get a fucking steak and a beer. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And so we get up to where the bowling alley is, you know, the next block.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, what the fuck was y'all even rumbling right before Ryan? Like, Ross, like, man, Ryan talking about he burnt me for $20 a couple years ago. What? 12 hours straight on the 23 is 3 trips.
That's crazy.
That's how long that just 2 hours is nothing like it was when I was a kid. Yeah. So it riding through it the other day, I'm just like, damn, the DMV ain't there no more. You know, Checkers is closed now.
Yeah.
Checkers took over KFC. That's closed. The car wash. I remember the white guys that own the car wash.
Yeah.
The beer joint, Big Top. All that shit is
the
just
gas station right there
dog.
at Island and Woodland.
I tell you how funny this shit was. So the gas station, the Sunoco, where they sell chicken now, they ain't sell no chicken back in the day. They used to actually do work there, like car work, like it was mechanic joint. So my mom used to go to the Sunoco to get her gas. That's the only place she would go to get gas. Whatever is now Speedway. Before it was a Speedway, it was a Hess. Before it was a Hess, back in the day, it was a Merit.
I don't remember the
Yo, that's crazy this shit was.
I don't remember that. I remember the Hess.
Right. I'm talking like late 80s, early 90s. It was a Merit. That was what the gas station was. So it was the Sunoco and the Merit. And whenever you came there, the Sunoco would be packed. My dad, because he's impatient, he would go to the Merit. Because I'm not waiting. I'm just whatever it's getting. So I swear to God, yo, my dad kept him in business for decades. He was like the only person that went to that Merit. So I'm with me and my sisters with my grandpa one day. We in my grandpa's car. He got to get gas. So we pull into the Sunoco. It's packed. I'm like, mind you, I'm like 8, 9. My sister's like 4 or 5. It's packed at the Sunoco. So I look over. I'm like, Grandpa, the gas station over there got nobody over there. My grandpa was like, only your father used that cheap ass gas. The Dunkin' Donuts on Cobbs Creek. I saw like 9 almost at like the Africans are running wild. And I hate to be that guy, but they're in Land Cruisers and they're running wild.
Land Cruisers, 4Runners, and 94 Maximus with side plates. With
mirror tint. They're going crazy over there. I'm like, yo, it was so many, like, just the one where you had to see him run the red light at Woodland and Island. I couldn't believe that shit, yo. Like, it's just insane. I just was like, this is why I don't like coming outside, yo. It bugs me the fuck out.
I have a rule about Southwest. I don't drive into the teeth of Southwest.
Yo,
I only drive around the perimeters.
It sounds crazy to people that I talk to from like the new Southwest, like new Southwesterians. Yeah. I don't know if that's a word, but like Penrose, Pascal, 70th Street, like a Finnegan's.
Yeah.
Even over to like 66 and Dix, like where the 108 go and all of that shit, back up to like where the 12th district is, like 65th and Woodland Green. It sounds crazy, but that shit was all white.
Yes.
I know motherfuckers don't be believing me.
Not long ago.
Listen, we used to play basketball. I'm talking about all the niggas from my neighborhood. They called Elmwood White Boy, and the rec was the rec, 82nd Street behind Rock Crib. We used to play basketball up at White Boy at Elmwood. Elmwood is on 78th and 77th and in between Buist and Elmwood. Yeah. Like, it's the park right around the street from my old crib. The white boys used to pull up with hockey goals and kick niggas off the court. I'm not exaggerating. They would pull up 40, 50 deep with cases of Budweiser. They had 8 bitches with them, boom boxes, all that. And niggas would be playing ball, and they would dead ass come on the court, start skating around, be like, yo, wrap this shit up. And they start playing hockey. That shit was all white. So driving through it now where it's literally like, it's not even like African Americans, it's like just Cambodians and that shit is wild.
And an occasional Puerto Rican.
Self-preservation, something's supposed to kick in. motherfuckers be going the wrong way and be like turning up the
like clown and shit.
Oh, listen, before we start going to the Patriots office, I gotta get this story off. I'm talking about, this might have been 15 years ago, yo. I wish Ross was here because he explains this shit so fucking funny. We on 476, right? So you know where the AMC is.
Yes.
At Marple, I think it's called, right? Mm-hmm. So you know you can get off of 76 at Media. That takes you, 476 at Media, that's the second exit. That takes you to the Springfield Mall.
Yeah.
You get off at the Lima exit. That takes you to the shopping center where the Marble is. What movie are we going to see?
Said 15 years ago?
Probably maybe a little longer than 15 years ago.
Bad Boys 2.
State Property 2.
Holy shit.
Yo, dog. Shout out Rod. God, we was all there that night. We going to see State Property 2 at Marple. Beans is a fucking legend, by the way. He really had a movie in like actual movie theaters. But we going to see State Property 2. We coming off of the exit. Normal last night. We not even on some like super high. We going, everybody linking up to go see State Property 2. We coming off 476. You know, you come off, you veer down, you make the right, or you can make the left to go out towards Media. Like that's where my gym is. What's the mall?
Grand and Run.
Grand and Run. We come off the joint. We come down to the light. Out of nowhere, all you hear is boom, 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 boom. You look up, it's 4 or 5 cop cars balling down. Whatever the fuck that street is coming towards 476. And I'm like, oh shit, they must be on somebody's ass. Ross like, they chasing a nigga. And we look, it's a motherfucker in front of all the cop cars. I cannot make this up. He's driving a drop top Impala, like from the old West Coast videos.
Yeah.
He's driving a drop Impala, rag top down, no top. He turns past us. We at the light watching this shit. He turns past us and is going on to 476 the wrong way. I swear to God, this is how he rode past us. Like, he was that cool.
Unbothered.
Ross was
Bitch
like...
ass cops behind.
I remember Ross was like, that nigga the coolest nigga in Philly. It was 4 or 5 cops chasing this motherfucker. He was going the wrong way onto the highway, and he drove past us like, what shit going on? Dwelling, and the basement stunk. I mean, it smelled like absolute shit. I only went in there once in this other time, and they was like, yo, we got the chick in there, da-da-da-da. And I remember I walked in, and like I said, the stench hit me. And I was just like, oh my God, is that the bitch? Like, was that just the, like...
At the dwelling, the domicile.
Right, like, God damn, it's thick here. And I remember it was like kind of dark because they really didn't have like modern electricity like in the basement. So
it's like Mesopotamia down there.
Right. And I remember I came around the steps and it was just beds. Like it was just beds remember when they stabbed Rebenga on Scarface? Like it was just beds and shit around the apartment, around the basement. So I was just like, what the fuck? And it was cold because it was the wintertime. Yeah. So it was like, naturally the basement was like cold. And this is when I just knew that the party shit just wasn't for me. I could hear all the commotion, hear the bitch and shit scream, whatever. And I came around the steps and I saw they had the chick on the bed. Like a nigga was fucking her, another nigga was getting his dick sucked. And she had her coat on. And I just was like, yeah, like, this shit just ain't it. Stop fucking with him for this, but just in hindsight, it might have been. Shit he would say.
Might have been the genesis of
shit is just like, some of the shit he would say. But one day, my girl came to the barbershop. And, she came like to meet me there, whatever. And I think we were like swapping cars or something like that. She came to take my truck because she came to take my truck. She was going to Delaware, some shit. But she took my truck and brought my car to the barbershop. So she came in, spoke to everybody, whatever. And my one homie was like, yo, I don't know how you do that shit, man. And I'm just like, do what? And he was like, like the super pretty chick, like that chick. And I'm just like, what? Like, it was just so bizarre. And I'm like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, man, like that shit, like I can't deal with a chick that's just super nice looking and niggas just in her face all the time, like oh, like he's like, I know you peep, like my BM, like she hit, like that shit, and I'm just like, what?
So it's a philosophy behind this shit, basically. Is what you're telling me.
But it sound crazy because, and I used to get the DuPont registry as a kid, like all that shit, just cause you reading and you didn't have the internet, so it's like you getting all that shit from books and from magazines and shit, the paper and everything. I remember like the paper, dog. Rest in peace, Duel. Duel got killed from my neighborhood. Duel used to deliver the PM Daily News. Remember, you remember when Daily News had a PM edition?
Yeah.
Dead ass. That shit would come like 9 o'clock at night.
Remember how big of a deal the Sunday paper was? Like your mama send you to get the Sunday paper.
Let you go down there and the Sunday paper be gone. I remember calling the house on the payphone because there wasn't no fucking. I'm at the plaza.
What I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, they ain't got no more Sunday papers. Well, walk your ass over to Rite Aid. You had to go across Island Avenue to the Rite Aid.
Across a highway.
With a super free, you gotta cross a highway. Right, a 10-lane highway to go get the Sunday paper.
It's trolleys, buses.
Real talk. 18 wheelers.
It's an industrial corridor.
Yo, you walking across Island Avenue, go over to Friday where the Super Fresh is.
Crossing Island Avenue should be a Fear Factor challenge.
Yo, real talk, dog. Like that shit is real, and it's like
cross Island Avenue during rush hour.
Real shit, and that's really how it was though. But it's like I remember when Jeezy when Jeezy would come on the track, he would be like, yo. I will never forget this shit. No, we went to Atlantic City. Mind you, Shiz old head street nigga. You know how that shit go.
Yeah.
He got cracked down AC. Like he dropped everything down the motherfucker. So he come to me like Biggie. That's what they call me. Like Biggie, give me a stack real quick, man. Get back on this table. I give him a stack. He lose that shit. He like, don't worry about it. I got you, man. We get back to Philly and shit. We come back up here. He had a Navigator, a Lincoln Navigator at the time. They was like kind of hot, and I'll never forget it. He had like, it was a regular Navigator.
Yeah.
He had it wasn't no rims on it. Like it was just a regular joint. We in front of the rim shop. He pulled up. And he had 24s on the Navigator. And remember when motherfuckers used to get the 24 emblem? Yeah. He had that shit on there. And he hopped out with this much money in his hand. And he was playing the I'm So Hood remix. Remember that?
Yeah.
Jeezy had the first verse. He pulled up and that shit was blasted. He got out and slammed the joint. I'm so H to the double OD. So all this goddamn money on me. Yeah,
so when I worked at Footstop, dog.
You know who we met at Footstop? Out of all, think about me, Steve Jenkins, my man Charles. Who did we meet at Footstop?
Who did you meet at Footstop?
There's no way you're gonna get this, but just take a wild guess.
Ricky Waters.
No.
Celebrity?
Celebrity. It's way crazier than any Philadelphia sports person.
Met at Footstop.
At Footstop at Penrose Plaza.
I'm never going to guess this.
Me, Steve, and Charles are walking through the plaza like we would always do. You know, it's crazy being from Penrose. We called it the mall. That was the mall.
We going to the mall.
That was the mall in Penrose. We going to the mall. We walking through the fucking corridor like always, passing Footstop. White dude, husky as shit, bald head, getting out of the truck, walking in the Footstop. I'm like, ain't no fucking way. My man Pax like, yo, you Stone Cold.
Holy shit.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was walking in the Footstop. No bullshit. My man Pax was like, yo, you Stone Cold. He's like, who the fuck else you think it is? And walked into I was like, what the fuck? Got out of an F-150, big ass F-150, walked in the Footstop. We met Emmett Smith down there. It was always somebody to fuck down there. The Randall Cunningham, Charles Barkley. Crazy shit. Freddie Mitchell lived in Corman Suites. Across from
I can believe it.
We used to go to his crib and play Madden. He had a trap house in fucking. There was nothing in there but a big screen, couches, and a fucking.
Same way fucking Deshaun had Deshaun had a trap house there on Penrose Avenue. Yeah, that's why that shit got robbed. He set that up, but that's another story for another day. He got all them characters that we know hanging in the crib. Like, damn, my crib got robbed. You hanging with cat burglars, bro? Like, I don't know, like where you got the background check on them niggas from.
Another good Plaza story. I remember I was down there with my mom coming out of Acme, and niggas was running through the Plaza. Yeah. And like I know everybody from around the way. I saw like Tamika, I saw Tanya, I saw fucking Kurt. hurt. And I'm like, fuck is going on? They was like Foxy and Corrupt at Footstop. And I was like, this is no reason.
Why are y'all running?
Why are y'all running? But Foxy and Corrupt was Footstop was like the Penrose Players.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. They didn't really sell many sneaks because they had heroin and prostitutes and all that other shit. But Footstop for his little time was like the go-to spot for like sneakers and clothing.
They had the Jordan 11s, the fucking Vince Carter Shocks, the Raptors. Release.
I bought my patent leather Grand Hills from there.
Yeah, like they had a good account while it lasted.
I was looking at earlier somebody posted a little red ticket thing at the deli. Like, now serving. Like that's how this shit.
Who needs some honey ham? Like who next?
Who needs some honey ham? Real shit. That's how it be. And I just never was like super into this.
It's sick.
It's sick, yo. I remember old head from around my way. He used to have these fucking. He used to have like BBW thons at his house. Like, it was wild as fuck. And I remember going through there one time and it was just like way too much glizzy, just too much going on in this motherfucker. And it was like, you know how like your homies? Like, I know your homies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily, I might not like Mudda. Me and Mudda ain't close.
Yeah, but
if I see him, that's Chad. If Von Cheeks, that's Chad, man. You know what I'm saying? Big Dan, that's Chad. Like, like, oh, what's up? Them parties, it bring all kinds of strangers. I ain't never seen this nigga in my life.
Bro.
Dog. I remember I was at Oed crib. He had a chick in there and, it was going down, whatever. And this dude walks in the basement. We was in the basement. Dude walks in. I'm like, who the fuck is this boy? Like, I ain't like, and he had on an Orkin, like the one piece, like the exterminator jump. And I was like, yo, who the fuck is this?
Who the fuck is old head?
Like, who the fuck is this boy? And he came in and he saw the chick and like looked at me and was like, you care if I get in like with you, whatever. And he like unzipped the one piece and he was naked. And I was like, oh, this is a porno. I was like, yo, where are the cameras at in this show? Like, y'all the fuck ain't got no drawers on. Like, that's the type of shit that happens at them parties. And it's just, it brings out the decay of society. So that's why I just never was really.
Yo, I got another one, right? The blame, and he made
the Yosemite same shit. I remember a nigga from around my way was like having some issues with like another motherfucker, and I remember we was like at the park and he was like talking shit about it because he was like smoking weed, he was on or whatever, and he was like, yeah man, I got something for that nigga next time I see him. And he pulled out this big ass like wooden handle revolver.
Dirty Harry.
And he was like, I got something for that nigga next time I see him. And my other homie Crack was like, yeah, you catch that nigga at high noon, boy. Fuck. It's like watching motherfuckers run the wrong way because they panicking like that. And then when you get out of it and you really think about it, you like,
I could have died.
Them bullets was going air. Like, and it's funny looking back because Ra was like the Christopher Columbus of that. Ra knew what was up. Ra literally picked his keys up and was like, yeah, I'm out. And he walked off and literally like 25 seconds later, doom, just mayhem ensued. And everybody was just scattering, running everywhere. Motherfuckers started running up the hill. Cause I don't know if you ever been to the Rec, 82nd Street, but it's a hill right behind the basketball court. Motherfuckers started running up the hill, and I remember my man Ross was like, "Why are y'all running up there? Go that way!" the whole park like turned and started running. Motherfuckers was going up the hill, and it was the stupidest.
Like, get your brains blown up.
It was the dumbest shit on earth. Like, run out of the fucking park. What the fuck are you doing?
So apparently, Selena Powell had a similar run-in with Trey. Like, she was fucking him too, and she like, yeah, that's his thing. Like, he'll just hold you hostage and fuck you for 2 days. Like, he's a fucking animal. And I'm just like, yeah, this is not a good look for you, Trey. You've been out here freedom fighting for the last 8 months. And you out here.
I mean, I we all got our shit, but it's just like, yeah, once you get to where like you committing crimes. You know what I'm saying? True story. We had a situation. We was in high school and there was a nigga around my way, and he was way. You know the niggas around your way that are like just like you can tell they just y'all ain't on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Like he used to wear wooden sandals. You know what I'm saying? Like the little Heihachi Jones from Tekken and shit. And he was like kind of spaced out, but he always had like bitches. Like he was always into those. And them boys for some odd reason always got
Arab Renee niggas.
not even Eric Benet. I was gonna say more like what could you compare him to? Because he did karate, and I don't know.
Did karate, fix cars?
There's no parable. It's just him. It's just him by himself. But I remember my man Ross, shout out Ross. He had like 2 chicks after school one day. He was like, "Yeah, we gonna take him over so and so crib because we couldn't take him to my crib, go to his crib." And I'm like, "Why are we gonna go there? We better off taking him to the park." Why you gonna take him? So we take him to. He a little older than us, so we like, "Yeah, we gonna take him to his crib," and we take him there. And, like, they in the basement, and we upstairs in the kitchen, and, like, we on the John, like, all right, like, Ross, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna spark it. And while we doing this, he take his hoodie off, then he take his pants off. I see him, like, kick his flip-flops and shit. Next thing I know, he ass naked. And he like, yeah, so how we gonna do it? And I'm just like, bro, that's a felony. Like, if you go down there, like,
we gonna do it?
That's a felony. Don't do
at
that.
least put a karate gi on.
Like, put your shit back on. And that shit just perplexed me so much because I'd never seen anybody get naked during a game plan. Like, we on X's and O's right now. Like, this nigga was in 4th quarter mode. I'm just like, dog, like, you tripping.
All right, so we go here.
Nigga from around my way, and I don't want to talk bad about people, but he's one of them guys that just is never doing good. And I don't mean like criminal. I mean just like
a perpetual loser.
Yeah, perennial, habitual. Yeah.
Consistently,
he's just.
If you see him today, he's in the same spot he was in the last time you saw. Thing it's a shootout.
The ops is always.
The ops are always one phone call away.
Did I ever tell you about how I learned what ops means?
No, please share.
Nigga from around my way, and I don't want to talk bad about people, but he's one of them guys that just is never doing good. And I don't mean like criminal. I mean just like
a perpetual loser.
Yeah, perennial, habitual. Yeah.
Consistently,
he's just.
If you see him today, he's in the same spot he was in the last time you saw him.
Jeans always got that brown. Like grime on the front of him.
Tint to it.
Yeah, that brown tint, yeah. But I see him in front of 7-Eleven. Well, what used to be 7-Eleven. And I pull up, I get out, he like, damn, Matt, you shit looking clean. I'm like, yeah, what's up with you? He's like, you already know, cuz I'm looking for the ops. And in my mind, I thought he meant like a job opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God, this is a couple years ago. I'm like, yeah, man, shit, put an admin with SEPTA shit. He was like, fuck is you talking about? And I'm like, you said you was like looking for like some ops. And he was
some
like,
opportunities, right?
He was like, yeah, nigga, like, you already know. Like, I was going through little nut shit over here. This little situation pop off over 70th Street. And I'm like, wait, what are we talking about? And he was like, nigga, the ops, the niggas on some bullshit. And I'm like, so you don't want a job? I was like lost like